love this woman. Love this lady.
That's Kim Kardashian West having an emotional meeting with Alice Johnson, the great-grandmother that Kim helped to get out of prison. That was a video was from the Today Show earlier this week. That was the first time those two had ever met. But Kim spent 7 months working with the White House behind the scenes, trying to get President Trump to grant clemency to Miss Johnson, who was facing a life sentence behind bars for a first-time drug conviction. There was a team of talented activists and lawyers, Topeka Sam, Jessica Jackson Sloan, Brittany Barnett, and others who've been working for years on Johnson's behalf. But there's no question that it was Kim who sealed the deal when she met with President Trump in the Oval Office. I spoke to Kim about what that whole case meant to her, how it moved her from being a reality TV star to a social justice activist. Take a look. Well, first of all, congratulations on the big win, but also just thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Second of all, how did it feel to make the phone call to let Miss Alice Johnson know that it was over, she was coming home?
I think she thought it was a routine phone call with her attorneys, and she was surprised and excited that I was on the phone. And then I was a little bit shocked because she was very calm, and
Right.
I had assumed she knew. So I just was like, wait, she doesn't know? And Alice was like, no, what? And I was like, you're going home. Like, I can like cry thinking about it. Hearing her scream, just to know that like we changed one person's life, you know, is like, we cried maybe on the phone for like 3 minutes straight. Like everyone was just crying. And then I have to get it together.
That's all right. I understand. It's emotional. I mean, people
just
understand.
Because I think people might think like, oh, Kim went to the White House, had this conversation, it was done, and that's it. I saw this 7 months ago, and I have been daily phone calls with the White House. Maybe a dozen emails a day trying to get letter from the warden. I mean, I have to give credit to where Alice's whole team has been working on this for years. So I do want to give credit where credit is due to everyone that's been working so hard on this for so long for her.
What was it about this case, though, that struck you so much? I mean, why her? Because, you know, there's people going to say, well, look, there's thousands and thousands of people in prison. You know, what about my uncle? What about my stepson? What was it about this case that just grabbed you?
Well, I do think there's something to, I had happened to be on Twitter at that exact moment and saw that come across my feed, that one of the people that I follow posted a story on her, and I watched it, and I just really felt for her because I felt like she's a good person. You can see that in her, that she lost her longtime job, got a divorce, her son died. Just all of her, everything was going so bad for her, and she got desperate, and she had 4 other, babies that she had to take care of, and she was desperate, and she made choices that I feel like, honestly, maybe not to that extreme, but when you're in a desperate situation, you'll do whatever you have to do to take care of your kids, and I know that I would do anything for my kids, and so I just felt this connection to her, like instantly, that I wanted to help her.
I mean, you have such a huge platform. You got Ivanka Trump's phone number. I mean, it must have felt like, hey, listen, I've got to do something. But the meeting with President Trump, now that's a whole other level.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, when I initially called Ivanka, I said I would love a meeting with your dad. And then that took about 6 or 7 months to get. And so once we got the file really strong, we were able to plan a meeting, and it happened to be on Alice's birthday, and that was the date they picked. And so I was like, okay, this is just all aligned. The stars are all in our favor today. I just feel that this is the right day to do it. And
so you go in.
We go in.
That's crazy. You got to know, for normal people, Kim Kardashian going into the Trump White House.
The West Wing.
The Oval Office.
Yeah. I have to say, I never get starstruck. I was starstruck over the Oval Office.
Yeah.
Like, that Oval Office is so powerful. I literally had to take a second and take it all in, and just inside.
This is not a movie set.
Yeah. Like, it really felt powerful and felt like you can just feel the history in there.
So you've been, tough on Trump at times. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not a Republican. How did you handle that?
Well, I think, like for me, I was very focused. I knew that if I have this meeting, I can't go in there and talk about all the policies that I don't agree with. And I've always had just a very open dialogue with Jared about how I felt, and have been even so honest to say, look, Trump is the last person I thought that would have done this, but he did, and he pulled through. And so when I got the meeting, I knew there was going to be tons of backlash. I knew people wouldn't understand it. And at that point, I had to make the decision that this was bigger than me, so I'm worried about my brand. It's like, and a woman's been in jail for 22 years almost. That just, to me, there was like, it wasn't even a question. Like, I would have taken the backlash no matter what the outcome would have been, just to try for her.
It's just really amazing to hear you say that. I mean, you didn't know her. Why did you feel that this was worth taking that kind of risk? A lot of celebrities to this day are scared to go and be in a picture with Donald Trump. A lot of athletes won't even go in the building. Why did you make a different choice?
And I do still respect their choice. I mean, everyone can do what they want to do. I never judge other people. And I do think sometimes situations are different, but I just am focused, and I could separate my feelings on certain policies. To me, it wasn't about policies. It was about, I can change someone's life. And if I have the opportunity to do that, like, it just wasn't even a question for me.
So just indulge me for a second. What did he say? What did you say? I mean, how does this, I want to see the movie in my head. I mean, Did he get up? Did he shake your hand? Did he hug you? Did you salute? I mean, give me something that I can work with.
I walk in, and, I had met him before he was the president a few times. So it was a hug, and sat down, and he was like, okay, so what's going on? He said, well, what are we here for? And I said, I'm here because I really want to know, why did you kick Chloe off The Apprentice? And it was a laugh, and it was funny, and then we got into business. And, he felt it. He was compassionate. He was sympathetic to her. He said, this is a really long time that she's been in here. Like, this just isn't fair. He knew that this is the right thing to do. Of
course, no good deed goes unpunished. So you go in there, you get this victory. Some people are very skeptical, all right? So they're like, I'm just gonna throw them at you. You tell me who's right and who's wrong. Number one, this whole thing is just a PR stunt for you. You're a master media person, and you know how to get media attention, and this is just a way for you to get attention for yourself. True or false?
That's very false. I mean, I could literally walk outside and it'll be some ridiculous story.
You're not desperate for media attention? You don't have to do anything extra to get it?
No. I mean, I think these days I'm trying to dodge it and stay away from it.
Gotcha. Number two, Trump is using you as a political pawn. So now you're sort of, you've endorsed him in a way. You've kind of given him legitimacy. You might be in a campaign video. He used you. I think Kanye's already given him legitimacy, so I don't, in that way. So I was working on this before, so I don't, I don't think I would be used, and at the end of the day, he heard me out. We got the job done. So I don't think, what could he really use me for? And when you say Kanye gave him legitimacy, what do you mean by that? I mean, Kanye, co-signed and said he loves his personality and loves him. So I just, if he already got that if he was trying to use me, how? Because he already kind of got, a big thing, from Kanye, I think. So I also saw people like, well, why don't you talk to him about this and about, immigration and so many other things that I care about. But I just have to stay focused, and I have to know that if there's the only person in the world that could have done this for her,
why wouldn't I go talk to that person if I had the opportunity to? Forget about my fears, forget about my life. That was the right thing to do.
Now, Kim says her work is not done. Up next, we're going to hear from her about how she plans to stay involved with the fight and continue working to make more good things happen. And wait until you hear what she says about the possibility of running for office herself one day. I'm going to give you a hint. It's not a definite no way. That's next. I spoke with Kim about her future involvement in criminal justice reform and in politics. Here's what she had to say. Let's talk about the future, because this isn't the first political thing that you've done. I mean, you've spoken out on Armenian issues. You've engaged a little bit with Planned Parenthood, some of the gun safety stuff.
That is something that I asked, like behind the scenes, not to the president, but are we gonna? What's going on? Is the conversation of the Armenian genocide being recognized ever gonna happen? And what? So yeah, there's things that I do care about and things that I want to know and things I would love to be more involved. Just seeing this success I think gives the whole team hope.
Yes.
And if I can be used as the vessel and they could all use me, they can use me. The attorneys, they can. I think everyone on that side knows that we're all in it together and we just all have the same goal. And if I am the voice that goes in and tries to, there's over 3,000 people in the same exact situation as Alice. And it's not that, it just so happened to be that Alice was on my screen at that moment, at that time when I was on, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna stop here.
What have you learned in this past 6 months, 7 months, 8 months that makes you say, I wanna keep doing this? Because some people would say, listen, one and done. You got a victory, walk away. You're saying, I got a victory, I want more.
I told Sean, the attorney, I was like, can we start a firm? Like I was like, let's do this and just get the best people together. If I could just be the vessel, I could bring awareness.
Your dad was a lawyer.
Yeah.
Is this in your blood?
I really think that it is. Anyone that knows me, like my whole other team of attorneys, every time I go in there, I'm like, God, if there wasn't the long college process, I would be an attorney. But I researched that in the state of California, I could assist an attorney for 3 years and then take the bar.
And be bar eligible?
Yeah, you never know.
This could go. Now, once you get the law degree, people are going to say, would you ever run for office?
Oh, I don't think that's even on my mind.
Trump's president. It could happen.
I know. That's why Kanye loves him. It's the idea that anything can happen.
So, could anything happen with...
I guess never say never, but that's not going to be like a Kim's run. That's not where what I'm going for. I just want to help, starting one person at a time. And I think sometimes if more people would just put their personal feelings aside and talk about really important issues that have to be discussed, then so much more can get done.
Politics is rough. I know being a celebrity is rough, but DC is really rough. Are you sure you want to stick your fork in that socket again? You could walk away. Nobody would be mad at you.
Yeah. I am never going to claim to be the most political person, but I know that I had a feeling inside when I helped someone. And just seeing the videos. I was crying watching the videos. But seeing her just be reunited with her family.
That video.
Yeah.
You sound like a mama bear now. Is being a mom and having these 3 little people in your life, is that affecting the way you want to use your platform in any way? I don't know, it feels that way.
Absolutely. I think I'm always going to be me, and I always will do things that make me feel good about myself or live my life or film my show. And, I'll still always be me, but there's a new side of me. I think just like past life experiences, becoming a mom, situations that I've been in that have really changed me. I think I've realized that I can't just, if I have this platform, it would honestly be such a waste if I didn't use it to change someone's life.
Yeah. You know, you talk about redemption and second chances. In some ways, you're fighting to give her a second chance, but then people try and throw stuff about your past on you. I think you're in a position now to give maybe advice to folks because you come under a lot of fire, you keep on keeping on, you keep achieving things. How do you do that? I mean, do you pray? Do you have a therapist? I mean, do you yoga? I mean, how can people kind of follow what you're doing, because it's hard out here. People have
it really
real
is. And
tough stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like the last few weeks in my life have been really, really hectic. And I feel like it was in the last stages and I felt like it was happening and I had anxiety and I never really do. And I got an app that was like a calming app. I was just like searching and I just like took my time out to take a deep breath and just do that a few times and really like get it together. But I also, to me, the negativity, I mean, sometimes it does wear you down, but to me, it always pushes me through. And I always want to, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but just I always want to prove those people wrong. And I always go into a situation thinking of like the best case scenario and always thinking of the worst case scenario, but always trying to get that best case, no matter what it is, no matter, but there are times when it's a lot, when there's just so many eyeballs on you and there's so much attention, positive and negative, both can one can fill your head up too much, one can tear your spirit down. And it's like, just sometimes you have to tune it all out, just take a deep breath. I don't have a therapist. But, I have a really good supportive family, and I think that we're kind of each other's therapists.
Now, you may have heard a little bit about some controversy that was stirred up by Kim's husband, Kanye West, recently. I talked to Kim about their relationship and about how she handles those situations when we get back. The only person who makes as many headlines as Kim Kardashian West is her husband, Kanye West, especially when he makes controversial comments expressing support for our very polarizing president and other topics. I spoke to Kim about her marriage to the often provocative musical artist who she shares her life with, a family with. Take a look at what she has to say. You're married to a creative genius, and a lot of us have creative folks in our lives, and they sometimes get themselves in trouble and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As the partner of a creative genius who sometimes gets himself in trouble, what do you think the most important thing that you can do in that relationship to be supportive, to keep that?
Yeah. I think just being that support system, even if you don't see eye to eye and there's a lot going on, I think always being real and always, we have really good communication. So we always, no matter what it is, if I agree, if I don't agree, I'm always there. And I think he knows that. And, it is tough when there's everything's so public. And, especially even album time and staying up and helping, just trying to get it done and helping that person get their creative ideas out. I think that is just really important, is just to be supportive. Doesn't mean you agree with everything, but it means that you're supportive and you're there to talk them through their situations. And just, I love him, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me just to be there.
I think about the journey you're on now. I mean, you have 120 million Instagram followers. I mean, that's bigger than most countries, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, 60 million Twitter followers. I mean, you do have the ability to make a big impact. Now, some people will say, well, listen, I'm still not convinced. Just give people one more opportunity to understand that people grow and change.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been through so much in my life that just I get that whole lifestyle of me of being shallow and cars and stuff that we've, who we were, and that's just not who I am today. And it doesn't mean that I don't like, a flashy photo shoot and, I made a joke. I got this influencer award for fashion, and I made a joke like, I'm always naked. How did I win this award for fashion? And hey, that's a part of me too. But this is a new part of me, and it doesn't mean that all of that other stuff has to go away. And I'm this political person, and I'm, I am me, and I care about people, and I want to use my platform to help other people. It's not always about me.
Well, you're off to a tremendous start, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.